expected that Nathan Wade would step down after this big ruling that came down from the judge earlier today. So I want to bring in a friend here of Live Now from Fox, legal analyst Neama Rahmani. Thank you so much for being here and helping us break down this big news coming out of Georgia today. All right, so let's get right into it, Neama. This is a big moment here in Georgia as Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor, stepping down just about 30 minutes ago.
Mike, big day in Atlanta, Georgia, and not surprising given Judge McAfee gave Fani Willis two choices. Either she and the entire Fulton County District Attorney's Office have to recuse themselves, and the case would go to another district attorney's office there in Georgia. A committee would make that decision, or essentially she had to fire Nathan Wade or he had to resign. So certainly the latter option was the preferred one to keep the case on track, even though the last several weeks has been a circus, really an unnecessary distraction from the merits of the case.
Yeah, it really has been. And let's go and talk a little bit more now about this timeline here, where it would have been the former President Donald Trump would have been very excited if McAfee came out today and said that Fani Willis and her whole team is out. But what's this going to do now to the timeline, if anything, to this case?
Well, Mike, I think it's very unlikely that we're going to see a trial before the November general election for several reasons. First, the way the case was handled initially, Fani Willis was the last to file. So it's the fourth of the four criminal cases. And of course, she charged 19 co-defendants. Some of them have pled, but 15 still remain, including the former president. And the reason that's important is every hearing, you have multiple defense attorneys who are examining and cross-examining witnesses. That's why the Willis hearing took weeks, because all those defense attorneys have a right to represent their clients. And now, of course, we have two important developments. The first of which is this personal matter that's become an issue in the case and has delayed the case. And of course, just recently this week, Judge McAfee dismissed several of the charges against Trump and the other co-defendants, saying that they were ambiguous. Now, Fani Willis has really a few choices to make. She can appeal the dismissal, and Judge McAfee actually certified the appeal, saying that this is an unsettled area of the law, can go to the Georgia Court of Appeals. Willis can go to the grand jury and get a superseding indictment. That's a new indictment with some more clarity, that's more definitive, but of course that will slow things down. It's going to start the process all over again. And of course, she can move forward without those dismissed charges. None of them are ideal, but at every step of the way, Trump's lawyers and other co-defendants have been successful in delaying the proceedings. And of course, that all benefits the former president.
Yeah, that's so true. And time is ticking there before the election, obviously in November. Hard to believe we're already almost mid-March right now. And when we're talking about these different cases now, and for Fani Willis, what do you think she will do with her decision? Is it just going to continue to press forward, not try to do these or re-indict on those charges that were dropped?
I think she may go to the grand jury and get that superseding indictment. And this is why. We're talking about some of the key charges in the case. Obviously not the most serious ones, which are RICO, but these are charges that Trump and the co-defendants encouraged Georgia state election officials to violate their constitutional oath, both the state and federal constitution. And we're talking about the phone calls, we're talking about the fake elector scheme. So I think that she'll want to go back to the grand jury. Now, this is one of the areas where Georgia's state law is a little bit different from our federal system and other states, and it does require more specificity. And I think this was just one of the mistakes that Willis has made, really several mistakes in this case that are self-inflicted wounds. So hopefully she'll clean that up, go back to the grand jury, get a better indictment, and we can move forward with this case.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how it all continues to play out. But this was a huge distraction for her case, obviously, when you had this different travels and love episodes all in the mix there, something that you don't want as a prosecutor, but now it was front and center nationwide.
Mike, you're right. Willis may have won the battle, but she certainly lost the war. Her reputation is tarnished. regardless of what happens with this case, people will remember this sordid affair, with her and her boyfriend, him visiting her condo. There was discussion of sexual relations in the office, really sort of, things that don't belong in any courtroom. And she's a prosecutor. She's a public servant. She should hold herself to a higher standard. That's one thing that Judge McAfee really talked about. These bad choices, the appearance of impropriety, the cloud over the proceedings. And we saw how much of a distraction and a circus that this has caused. And frankly, this is something that should have happened before these proceedings. And even though she's able to remain on the case, I think she's pretty bruised up after these proceedings.
Now, what about Nathan Wade? What about for his reputation as well going forward, especially in Georgia?
Not good, Mike. And we're talking about someone that arguably was less than honest. And Judge McAfee didn't come out one way or the other, but I think a lot of folks watching are going to have questions about whether Wade and Willis lied about their relationship. We obviously have witnesses that testified that it started much earlier than 2022, before, he was hired. And, I just don't see the upside in the case of forcing, someone like Wade, who frankly doesn't have a whole lot of criminal prosecution experience, much less prosecuting a case like this, having him on the case when you have this personal relationship. This is someone that should have stepped aside. Willis should have, when these allegations were raised initially, should have seen the writing on the wall, because even if she wins in the courtroom, which she did, she certainly lost in the court of public opinion. And both Willis and Wade, I think history will look back upon them as, having handled this issue improperly, incorrectly. And even though she may stay on the case, that doesn't mean she's out of the woods yet. There might be ethics or other disciplinary proceedings if it's determined that she lied under oath.
There we go. Yeah, I think, hindsight 2020, she is wishing that she made some choices in the past there that did not involve Nathan Wade here for this case especially. But Neama Rahmani, thank you so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox, breaking it all down. Big news out of Georgia today.
Yes, big day. Thanks for having me, Mike.
No problem. You take care. And we are going to take our final break of the hour, everyone. Stay right here with us. Always more to come in just moments on Live Now from Fox.